Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige and this is my open book. If you saw my last video, I showed you the closeout of the 2025 reading journal. Well, today is all about 2026. It's a new year. We have a new spread, a new setup going on. So this is the new one. Grab a drink and grab a snack and let's get into it. All right, this is my new reading journal for 2026. We are changing it up this year, okay? I mean, first of all, the one for 2025 was much smaller. We got an upgrade for the new year because I like to write. I have learned this about myself. And I write really big. And this journal is not going to be as much about aesthetics. It's going to be more about actually like reflecting on the books I'm reading, spending time with them. Kind of the theme for the past couple years for me has been trying to slow down with my reading because I feel like especially with social media and with just how saturated the book community is, it's a great thing because reading is definitely something that should be shared with the world, and I'm glad that more people are doing it. But it can also be overwhelming with how many books there are that I want to read. It just always feels like I have to go on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And I never get to really sit with the books I actually read. So the focus is going to be a little bit different this year. First, I did my 2026 goals, which I did talk about these in my previous video where I showed like my 2026 TBR. So I will link that if you want more in-depth of these things. But just to give you an idea, I have like the rereads I want to do this year, author backlists. I want to read more classics and banned books. I want to read manga, some series I want to finish, and then some series that I want to start. And the main task for the year is I really want to focus on my physical TBR. I still have to put what my starting count is, but I know it's over 200. I already know. But every month I'm going to keep track of how many books I read, how many books I added if I bought any new books, and then if I unhauled any books, so I can keep track of my running total for my physical TBR so I could see how it changed from the year. I'm really excited for that. My goal is to read at least 5 books off my physical TBR every month. I feel like that's definitely doable. Hopefully we can surpass that every month, but you know, we're gonna be realistic. Then to keep it a little bit more straightforward, I did enjoy doing my quarterly wrap-ups in my last journal. That was the one thing I was like really consistent with because I do love seeing stats. I do. But I think because I have my like book of the year bracket, you could see where it's kind of like every 2 months you pick a better book and then every 4 months you pick up the best book. So when I was doing my quarterly spreads, it's like I had the top 4 books of the year and they were different, and then I had like my top 3 books here. It was just confusing. So I think instead of doing quarterly stats, I'm just going to do it by month, and I just have it all on one page. So I'm just going to keep track of how many books I read each month, what my average rating was, if I read any audiobooks, because I feel like I'm not reading as many audiobooks as I used to. And then I kind of have it broken down by genre. How many romance did I read? How many fantasy? How many mysteries or thrillers? And how many were from other genres? And then how many favorites did I have? How many like 5-star, 6-star reads did I have? I think that'd be kind of cool to track as well. And then we kind of already showed this. This book bracket is my favorite thing in every reading journal ever. Even before I had a reading journal, I always had this in just like a random notebook because I love seeing what my top books of the year are at the end. Because even though you have a really strong favorite in January, by December, it could totally change. So I like being able to compare my favorite books each month. And we're going to narrow it down to the top 3. And then this page I'm going to dedicate to my book of the year and probably do like a Pinterest style, scrapbook style spread of some kind. But we'll see how I feel. Then this is the main difference. So what I'm going to start doing now is for every book I read, I'm going to dedicate a page to each book. I'll print the book covers eventually, but like I don't really care as much about that. But I'm going to keep track. Let me zoom you in a little bit closer. So I'll have the author, if it's in a series, what genre it is, how many pages, the title, how long I took to read it. If it's a romance, I'll keep track of like spice versus plot and characters, and then what my overall rating was. I can keep certain quotes or songs that I liked that kind of represent the book for me. And then I can put like my review, my reactions. If I don't feel like writing, I can also print out pictures if I want. I kind of like the flexibility of this new format where I can make it like a scrapbook style, or I could just write. You know, like it doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to be the same every time. Every book can have a different vibe. And I really like that. So I kind of mapped out the first books that I finished so far this year. And then I'm going to spend some time to write my reviews to kind of catch up. But going forward, once I finish a book, I have to fill this out before I can pick up another book. That's going to be my rule. Because again, the theme is to kind of sit with and enjoy the books you're reading before feeling like you have to move on to the next thing every 2 seconds. So that's kind of the idea behind this new format. Now, I'm undetermined so far. Like, for example, this is a book I gave a 2-star rating to. I feel like I'm not going to have that much to say, and I don't know if I necessarily want my journal to have, like, my rants about books I didn't like. So I might, like, only journal about books if it's, like, a 3 or above, maybe. I don't know. TBD on that. But yeah, this is going to be so much easier for me to keep up with because I feel like my reading journal, while I loved the aesthetic of it, it was way too much upkeep. It was way too high maintenance because I feel like every month I had to plan what I was going to print, and then I had to get all the pictures together, and then I had to print them, then I had to cut them, and then it was the whole thing. So this is definitely much more doable. And the rest of the things I would normally keep track of, I'm actually going to show you guys how I have my Notion set up for the year. And that's where I'm going to keep track of like my book club reads, my 5 stars, my 6 stars, things like that. So let's hop on over to my computer and I'll show you the new setup for that. Okay, so here is my 2026 Reading Hub in Notion. So you can see I added this image as like the cover image. I have a little quote here that says, "Reading is my safest place and my wildest adventure." And of course, we have the book stack icon. And then the things I'm going to be tracking in Notion are the books that we pick for book club, my favorite quotes, my 5-star Hall of Fame, and my 6-star reads. And then, of course, we have my series tracker, which is very important. Now, let's start with book club. So I just have a little, it's called a call out. So in Notion, you can create little things. These are called call outs, and that's how it makes like a little box like this. So I'm just going to have one for each month, and I have it broken down by romance or thriller, and it's color coordinated. So January is the only one we have picked out so far, which is Goodnight Beautiful by Amy Malloy. And then as we pick the other books, I'm going to plop them in here. And then I can always add like more underneath it. So I could put like my rating here once I know what it's going to be, things like that. And if we go back to my hub, I'm going to put my favorite quotes here. Again, you can do a call out. So that's like a color coordinated thing, or you can literally just like put a quote and then you could just type it. Kind of like how I did on the home page with this quote right here. Or I can take pictures of them and upload them. So it's really flexible. That's why I love using Notion. You can customize so much in here. Then we're going to have my Hall of Fame. I'm literally just going to put pictures of every 5-star book I have at the end of each month. Now for my 6-star reads, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a page. So I'll kind of show you guys how I do it. So we're going to create a page, and let's say my first 6-star of the year was No Filter. I'll put a picture of the book cover here. And then I can download pictures from Pinterest and kind of do the same thing that I did in my reading journal last year, where I can make like a little scrapbook here. So I could just put in a bunch of pictures and quotes, you know, like whatever my favorite parts of the book were. And then I can still have like a little, almost like a Pinterest board for every book that I love without cluttering up my Pinterest or having to print everything out and paste it all together in my journal. So this is going to be a lot easier for me. Now the series tracker, this one does a lot of work. It does a lot of work. So I have already put in all the series that I'm in the middle of. Right now it's just organized in alphabetical order by series title. But I've got the author, how many books I've read in the series versus how many total there are. This column right here, another cool thing about Notion is it has like a built-in AI feature where it can set up different automations. So it puts this information based on what I put in these 2 columns. So because I already told it I've read 1 out of 3 books, it's going to put it right here. The series status, if I know it's finished, I marked it as completed. If it's still ongoing, or if I don't know, I just put unknown. Like the Almond Bay series of Megan Quinn, I have no idea if this is done. Barry's Bay by Carly Fortune, I have no idea. But like Belladonna by Adeline Grace, I know that series is done. Big Shots by Tessa Bailey, the last book isn't out yet, so I put that it's ongoing, etc. Then I have a column for interest level. I haven't filled it out yet, but I'm going to go in here to kind of filter which ones am I most excited about. Those are going to be the high. Which ones am I like not motivated to read like at all, and which ones are just kind of in the middle. Then I also have this, which is another thing that the like built-in AI kind of auto updated for me. I basically told it that if it's a completed series and there's 2 books or less, I want it to be a high urgency. But if it's like an ongoing series, or if it's a completed series but there's like more than 2 books left, I want it to be medium. And then everything else is a low urgency. So once I have all my interest levels put in, I can easily sort them by the ones I'm really excited about. I can have it sort from like high to low, or if I just want to sort by urgency, like which ones am I closest to finishing, I can sort and put those first. So like, for example, if I wanted to sort by urgency, I could just click this column right here, sort ascending. So all my high priorities are right here. So like I only have 2 books left in this. I only have 1 book left in this series. These are all completed. So this is kind of a good way to narrow it down as well. And I have like 68 series in here. We're not going to talk about it. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, this is going to be really helpful. I can, as I read books, I can mark them off here. And then once I finish the series, I'm going to take it off. I could just delete it. So that this always has the series I'm in the middle of. But yeah. So same things that I tracked in my last reading journal, but I just have them in a different format because it's just so much easier to put it on the computer. Less printing and cutting and gathering of images. It's just a lot easier if it's all digital. And I just like how customizable Notion is. I don't have to sit there and like handwrite everything every month or every time I want to do something. It's just all in here already. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I'm excited about my new setup. I feel like it's going to be much more doable to keep up with. Hopefully more sustainable, less high maintenance. But we'll see how it goes. This could all change. We all know this. Be sure to give this video a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe so you can see my next video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!